Welcome in, all football fans, Falcons fans, and of course those Star Wars fans that have now realized they have made a grave mistake. This is the New Millennium Falcons podcast, brought to you in part by Around the Block Network. Thank you so much to the guys at atbnetwork.com. They have a ton of great podcasts going on. Please make sure that you go and visit them. I believe it's at ATB Network on Twitter. Today we got a great show for you guys. It's been a long time since we've been on here, but
Yep.
hey, we're back and we are ready to go. My name is Saivion Mixon on the bottom. I got my guy at Ron Rico Season on Twitter, that boy Fleek. How you feeling, my boy?
What's going on, my dog? I'm good, bro. Chilling, happy the off season is coming to an end, and we're gonna hit this little dead period. But by the time we hit summer, bro, it's downhill for me. Like football is almost back in my book, so I'm feeling great.
That's facts. That is as 100% facts. And of course, to the right, our surprise guest for tonight, that boy at Trey 3 Sean on Twitter. Is that boy Trey Way? Trey Sean, how you feeling, my boy?
Hey fellas, glad to be able to make it. Glad to be here. I'm doing well. I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing well too. It's June. It's early June. I'm feeling good. The Falcons are not playing meaningful football. They're not even having meaningful practices really yet.
No,
It's peaceful. It's quiet. They call this
is
the
it
calm
quiet?
before the storm. And
Yeah.
that's what it is. That's what June is. It's the calm before the storm, and I'm feeling good right now. I got nothing to be worried about. Well, that's not true, but
That's
we'll get
that's
into
a hundred
that. We'll
percent
get
not
into
Partially
the
true,
that.
case.
but
It's a
We'll
hundred
get
percent
into
not the
that.
case. Already got the first comment. Wallace Smith coming in. What's going on, fellas? What's
what's
going on,
going on,
Wallace?
Wallace? How you feeling,
What's
dog?
going on, boss man? Hey, listen, we got us a packed show today because
Yeah, yeah.
we ain't been here. We ain't been here in a little bit, man. So we
I
got a couple of
know.
things to discuss. hmm So
Yeah.
first things first, man. We got to talk about the number one thing on everybody's mind. This tampering thing that Adam Schefter has now reported. I think it was yesterday. Ruling comes in this week
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
tampering charges between us and the Eagles. Apparently, we're going to get the hammer brung down on us because we
Yeah.
were a bit more loose with our tampering,
Yeah. A bit more
um,
egregious.
a bit more egregious with our tampering. And so I wanted to start with you, Fleek. What are you seeing with this? Like, how do you think this is going to go? You know what I mean?
Well, so it's tough because I don't know what they're basing it off of. And I see everybody's theories online. Like our good friend Kenny, he seems to think that they're going to try to set a precedent with the Falcons and like show that you can't tamper with a quarterback. Like it's too important of a position. And I think that's a big part of his stance on why he thinks the punishment will be harsh and more severe. But then I've also seen people say, well, how did they tamper? Is it are they grading on how did it tamper? Like, did he only talk to that training person or like the person on the training staff that he said he spoke to? Did he misspeak? Like, it's so many different intricacies in the investigation. I really couldn't call it. All I could tell you is I think if it boils down to just Kirk Cousins, the fact that you tampered with Kirk Cousins, no matter how you did it, the fact that you did it in any way, if it's just based on that, then I can see us. I don't know about a first, maybe a second round pick, maybe a first round pick. I don't know, but maybe a second round pick and fines. I know somebody's getting fined in the organization, um, but at this point, I ain't gonna lie. It's not weighing too heavy on my mind. Before this year's draft, it was because it was so close to the draft, and I'm like, are they gonna take one of our picks? Um, but now that I know the earliest it could come is next season, and that's like a full calendar year almost to the next NFL draft. I don't care if the judgment happens this week or in 3 months, but if it comes out this week, at least it'll be off of people's minds.
Right. And I feel like that's going to be important. Is just the fact that it did not affect this year's draft 100%. Um, Treyway, what does this mean going forward for the Falcons? Like, whatever the punishment is, what does this mean for us?
I don't. Overall, I don't think it's going to. I think regardless of what the punishment is that wherever we go is going to be the same, and we just got to go forward. It is what it is. We'll lose out on the draft pick. In terms of those fines, uh, so when Fleek brought up that Kenny said this could be a moment the NFL uses this to set a standard for punishing the QB tampering situation here, but we've actually already seen this and seen how the league has handled it. At least the situation isn't apples to apples. There's 2 tampering charges, but the Dolphins got slapped for tampering with Tom Brady. Tom Brady had a year left in his contract when this tampering began too. So this is even more egregious than what happened with Kirk Cousins, which essentially is a couple weeks before the deadline. So this is a year, so pretty bad. But Sean Payton was also tied into this punishment as well, and the punishment that was doled out was 1.5 million fine on the owner. So any of these fines aren't going to affect the cap, so we're fine from a money standpoint. And It was a first and a third. Now, historically, when you look at severe or bad or run-of-the-mill tampering cases with more high-end names or talent, you see a 3rd-round pick, and that's a pretty decent punishment. And when I look at that case, I feel like that's attributed to Sean Payton. The 1st-round pick they were busted for, I feel like that was attributed to Tom Brady. Tom Brady was the much more egregious tampering issue in that case. So I think that Kirk's isn't as severe as Tom's, but he's still a QB, so there will be a QB tax. I'm thinking it's a 2nd. That does really suck.
That hurts.
That hurts. Look at how the draft was approached this year. They could have gotten themselves some insurance if they were really looking to move down. They could have done something with the extra pick they had this year besides trade up for Rook. And losing a 2nd sucks. And I think, they're going to have to prove that the moves that they've made, i.e. signing Kirk, drafting Penix, are worth that punishment, and that Kirk is able to overcome that. And I will say, if Kirk and this team can't overcome the loss of a 2nd-round pick, then we're definitely not going to be winning a lot of games if we're hinging on that.
Yeah. And that's 100% true. Like, I agree with everything that you're saying here. The part that gets me is the fact that, we did all of this for Kirk Cousins, and now we've also drafted Michael Penix Jr. Some are saying that the reason why we drafted Michael Penix Jr. is for insurance from whatever the punishment happens to be from this. I'll start with you, Trey. Do you think that there's any credence to that? Any type of credence to that kind of conspiracy theory? That we saw Penix and we were like, oh man, what if we don't have a 1st next year? We have to get our quarterback now.
I mean, honestly, it's definitely a conversation. I think I guess I need to double check on if the team was aware that some potential tampering. Were we aware of potential tampering issues or violations before or after draft?
Oh, before. It was before. I remember when the pick came through, that was a big theory that popped up. It was like,
so with that being said, I think that conversation's definitely had. Like we just said, the most recent one we've seen involving a QB at first was taken, and the team has to analyze. Once they know that threat is there, okay, how exactly is this going to affect us? And I think you could say that he was insurance. I think he's insurance for this. Not
a lot of things.
Year one. Yeah, there's a couple of reasons, but this is definitely another one that played into the fact because, like he says, like, well, what if we don't have a 1st next year? And even if that is the case, it's like, all right, fine. Well, at least you have an extra second round this draft that you could play with, or you can at least get that extra. But they use that to trade up for Rook. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think they just give themselves major thin, like razor thin margins for success. And like this is one where it's like, man, you guys really just like you didn't have to necessarily back yourself into the corner quite like this. You could have given yourself an exit strategy or two, but
yeah,
yeah,
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, and I feel like that's a thing with this regime is that they feel so confident in every move that they make. They kind of feel like they don't really have many off ramps for the stuff that they do, especially this offseason. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do think that losing a potential second round pick, that's huge. It's obvious that they covet that area of the draft
yeah.
because
Yeah,
they've moved up. Have they moved up in every draft for Terry
They've
at least
now in
moved
the second
up
three.
in
round?
the second every draft except for one in which they moved down. So they
They
move
moved
they
down.
move either way.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So that's what that is. That's a what's it called? That's a battling ground for them that they enjoy that they feel confident in doing and moving around in. And I don't know. We'll see how fruitful that is. But either way, with that, we go on to the next thing. Our next thing we're gonna go to is the new Christian McCaffrey deal came out today, where he essentially let me pull up the what's it called? Let me pull up the numbers because I know he got a nice little raise today,
Yeah,
yep,
he's
yep.
gonna get 19 a year, I think.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm. Now, this was an extension, right?
this is a contract
Yes.
extension. Yes,
Got you.
2 years. I think he's locked up for three more.
he's locked up for three more.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense. 19 a year.
yep. The new deal is worth $38 million. Yeah,
Okay, great. All right. Well, I mean, CMC is worth that. Like, he's dynamic.
he's their
I mean,
offense. Yeah,
he's there. Like, I mean, if you go back to Carolina, he was Carolina's offense for years when things were kind of down there.
right.
Um, and then he moved on to San Francisco, who was already a great offensive team because they have Kyle Shanahan as their play caller. And he just hits on
Hmm.
quarterbacks and finds success. But then again, he ended up in San Fran and took them to another level. So it's like, man, this dude is just a game changer. Period. Like it doesn't matter where he is, what you ask him to do, he can do it. He's been doing it for years now. So like, if anybody deserves money, that's a running back. I know people like they paid a running back. No one's even thinking that. I don't think like because that's how good
I don't think they
CMC is.
should. Yeah,
In our minds, he should have surpassed that title of just running back when we're talking about money because like his value is immeasurable. I mean, it is measurable. You can ask PFF, but yeah,
no,
Yeah.
I don't. No, I don't think it is. I don't think he is just a running back. But yeah. Go ahead, Trey. What you about to say?
This is just the joys of hitting on a rookie QB contract, man. Like this is the kind of stuff you get to do. They don't have to pay Brock Purdy Brock Purdy's locked up for 2024 and 2025. So whenever they have to pay Brock Purdy, the first year that hits is the last year of this contract.
mm,
This is
yeah,
why people. This is why so many fans were desperate for Desmond Ritter to work out last year, even all the way into late November, December. And
yeah,
this is why a lot of people also like the Penix pick, although they're frustrated that they can't that with the Kurt contract going against it if you didn't have that one there. But you still at least get the fifth year with Penix. But
yeah,
when you control your rookie QB, when you have a rookie QB contract, you get to spoil yourself. CMC is great and we love him. We also know that the game is still very fickle, but you can take risks like this when you have that financial security. So, it makes sense. Good move for them. I would do it. Um, I think they really need him right now because we don't know what's going to happen with Ayuk yet either.
right,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Right. And then like when I say that he's their offense, I don't mean that as in like, he's the only talent on that offense. Like it's obvious that they got plenty of talent on that offense. What I mean is he's indicative of what they like to do. Like they enjoyed attacking you from many different ways in many different facets of the game.
He's
And
a
that's what
3-level player
McCaffrey
on offense.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you don't get that from the running back position very often. So
No. Yeah.
that leads me
It's special.
to the he's special. He is. He's a one of a kind running back, one of a kind weapon that you'll find.
Truly.
And that leads me to the Bijan conversation, which is kind of
boy.
similar, to, I mean, it's crazy that now the best wide receiver and the best running back have now both gotten deals in the NFL.
Yeah.
The standard is now set for where the contract negotiations start for Bijan Robinson. Let's say that he looks like we think he's going to look over the next 2 to 3 years. Could you see yourself now, mind you, 2 to 3 years from now, don't know what Quark's going to look like, anything like that. Could you see yourself paying 19 to possibly more $20 million for a running back?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Trey Sean talk about that first.
All right. So, I mean, first of all, I'm making that man play all the way through onto that 5th year. Like, this is why you got drafted. Like, you got drafted top 10. Like, this is top 10 treatment, buddy. Like, we're gonna take you all the way through.
All the way through.
And we'll talk year 4.
Yeah.
We'll see if you want to sign something year 4. If you don't want to sign it, I'm down to do a extension like this. I'll do a 2-year, make you the highest whatever at the running back position if he plays the way we expect him to play.
Yeah.
I'm not doing 4-year deals, man. That's he's not doing that. I'll give him the 2-year extension year 4. We'll do the 5th year deal, which gives him 3 years of security. And with the 5th year, because he was a top 8 pick, he's going to get paid more than the average running back already.
Right.
He already makes more than most running backs.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
of his contract.
That's very true.
Like I'm just saying, this should be a little goodwill that comes back with that, with taking him and everything. So we'll see. But yeah, man, I 2-year extension, I'll max. We can't do anything more than that.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm there with you, bro.
Yeah, it's just funny to see because no everybody got on the Falcons about, taking Bijan this high, and then, he doesn't, his first year he gets 1,400 plus yards from scrimmage. And that was with him being used as a decoy a lot of the time. So I mean, it's just the sky's the limit for where Bijan really can go this year. And in this regime, but I just really wanted you guys' thoughts on that because Bijan said he's going to be used as like Christian McCaffrey this year, so I wanted to see what you guys thought about that.
I mean, I don't. So when he says that, I get what he's saying, but I still want to see what it looks like. I just want to see.
I was just about to ask you,
bro. He had 1,400 yards, like we just said last year.
Right.
Scrimmage yards, like. His potential is like through the roof, bro. I think Bijan could legitimately be the best running back in the NFL in the right situation, and I'm thinking this might be that situation, bro. And so that just goes into like guys like Bijan and Drake and Kyle, just like the excitement I have for those young guys that we've stacked these first round picks on last regime, or still, the Arthur Smith era. This could be the year that 2 of the 3, if not all of them, see like exponential leaps. And for us to live up to the expectations that clearly they have for themselves, because may I say, Terry Fontenot has not hesitated once when he says, we're gonna win a lot of games, so we won't be able to pick this high again. He said that like 30 times and didn't stutter once. So they truly believe and expect to be contenders. So in order for that to be true, those guys have to step up. With having better quarterback play, of course.
Now Trey, that was I think that was a giggle that I heard. What's the giggle about?
You know, I think when you make those we're gonna win a lot of game statements and stuff, I think it's gotten really easy for Terry to do it now because he used to do it when Mariota was back there, and he did it when Ritter was back there, and now he's got Kirk back there, so I feel like it's really easy for my man to say we're gonna win a lot of games. So that just made me laugh. That's why I was laughing at. I was
That's
like,
true.
I bet it's really easy to say that.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
I didn't think about that either, bro.
Nah, he definitely was sitting there drinking the Kool-Aid, drinking the Mariota and Ritter Kool-Aid.
Oh my gosh.
But now he can look out his window and actually see that it's,
Yeah, something's
Yeah.
happening.
It's like,
something's good actually happening.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're actually flying through these, so I think we might actually have plenty of time for this one, which I was hoping for. We have not been on since the schedule dropped, man.
Bro, we literally haven't.
We have not been on since the schedule dropped, man. And everybody's had their takes, everybody's done their win-loss predictions and whatnot. Yo, what did you take Treyway, what was the first thing that you thought of when you saw this year's schedule?
Thank God we're playing Arthur Smith week 1.
Yep.
Just just really want to get that game out of the way for multiple reasons. One, just the whole narrative piece. Don't really want to have to hear about Arthur Smith all season. It's like we fired the man, we've moved on, we've gotten in our jokes, let's just be done with it. And that being week 1, the narratives, what's going to happen if Smith comes back and his offense looks good and is better than what happens to this, what happens to that. It's I'm so glad that we are getting all of that out of the way week 1, and then we can just move on after that, because having those narratives floating through the whole season, it's just exhausting. And like I said, it's Arthur Smith's gone. This ain't Arthur Smith's team anymore. This is the Raheem Dream team.
Raheem the Dream.
So I'm just glad that we're getting it out of the way.
Nah, I agree, bro. I agree 100%. I was actually gonna say that was the first thing I thought too. Was like, nice, we played the Steelers week 1, perfect. And not necessarily just heavily on the list, hurry up and get it out of the way thing. I just think it's cool. All right, cool. Week 1, face the old coach. Cool. First thing you do. All right, nice. Whether you win, you lose, you better win. But whether you win, you lose, check it off, move on, bro. Get on out of there. There will still be stragglers on the timeline, we know, but
absolutely,
we'll move on.
But I was listening to Locked On Falcons when the schedule dropped. Shout out to Aaron Freeman. He did. Yeah. Shout out to Aaron Freeman. He said that the schedule makers were in their bag putting this in the first week, because you got to think about it this way: there's the student versus the master, Raheem Morris versus Mike Tomlin. That's number 1. There's the 2 completely different team building strategies when it comes to the quarterback position. There is the Steelers who have said, listen, we are not going to spend over $5 million for this quarterback room this year.
They're running our playbook.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For real.
And then there's us who have allocated as many resources as you possibly can to the quarterback position.
Yeah.
There's obviously the Arthur Smith of it all. We already know about that. But now it's Arthur Smith. Basically, it's Arthur Smith versus Zach Robinson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's like whose offense actually works. Like there's so many things that kind of went into this game that is just so crazy that we get to open the week. I mean, we get to open the season out with this,
Yeah.
and it makes it makes for a perfect start because if we win this game and we dominate this game, like we hope that we do, it almost feels like validation for everything that happened this offseason.
Yeah.
And I feel like if there's anybody that needs validation right now, it is us
Oh boy,
because
what? Hey, I was thinking about that earlier today, bro. Like,
mhm,
damn it, do we deserve to be happy? I've said this, we've had this conversation
we
every
do
year
not
since we
deserve to be
started
happy.
this podcast, bro. Have we ever deserved to find happiness? Like, and I asked this summer one of this podcast, I asked this last year, and I'm asking it again. Like, for Falcons fans, it is so difficult at times to look forward to like positive things happening because there's always something. So I'm trying to slow down and I'm trying to allow myself to look forward to a little bit more positivity this year. You know what I'm saying? You got Kirk Cousins, you got a quarterback that's stable, stability, the name of the game right now, bro. Especially in the NFC South. I don't know. I just wanted a little mini rant, man, because we've been through a lot, bro. Like we deserve something. Something got to happen. Something got to give, bro. We've been through Mariota, been through Desmond Ritter, then Taylor Heineke, then Ritter again. It's been a lot. It's been a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
7
and
straight seasons, no playoffs.
the longest since 1983, bro. 1983 to 1990.
And
That is
when you
the
think about it, too, you had 4 straight regime change. Then you had 3 straight regime change. So now, here we are. Like, I don't know how many more times I can do this. Like, I can't. We have to start winning, bro. I can't go through this again.
somebody got to win.
Somebody got to do
Somebody has
something,
to
bro.
win. Yeah, somebody has to win. Outside of that, was there anything else that you guys got from the schedule? Like, is there any games that you're really looking forward to? Um, any stretches of the season that kind of caught your eye? What got you caught you guys' attention?
Bro,
Oh, go
oh, my
ahead.
fault.
I was
I was
just
going to say
gonna.
the first 4 weeks is like, that's it for me.
That's
Like,
gross.
Pittsburgh, at Philly, Kansas City, and then New Orleans, who is your rival. Like that right there, there are going to be a lot of narratives spent about this team after the first 4 weeks, whether it be good or bad. Either we'll start seeing the more positive side of things, with Kirk Cousins balling out, hopefully the offense elevating, or we could stagger out of the gate because you have to remember we all put a lot of trust in Z Rob, and trust me, I believe in Zach Robinson as well. But it is his first season calling plays, for as an offensive coordinator full time. So it's like in the NFL. So it's like you have to almost prepare yourself for a slow start because it's definitely a possibility. But my hope is after those first 4 games, like there's like rays of sunlight shining on the Falcons again. That's my personal hope because we went 2-0 the first 2 weeks of last season, and then things just never got right after that. You know what I'm saying?
The
So,
hype on the TL from week 2 last year was insane.
so
I was
after that Green Bay game, bro.
oh my god when Jordan Love when Jordan Love false started on that quarterback sneak.
That was funny. That was
That
funny.
was in the amount of positivity that I saw on the TL was something I had not seen because I remember I only got back I only got on Twitter from 2021. I've only seen heartbreak. That's it. That's all I know for right now on
Oh,
the TL.
bro, me too, dog. Me too. And then Bijan was juking everybody out their shoes that game. It was like, oh man, like phenom. Oh my gosh.
What he did to Carolina on that first touchdown. What he did to Buddy, put him in the dirt on the 10
That was
yard.
Frankie
Come
Louisville,
on,
I
bro.
think.
Was
I
that
remember that.
Louisville?
I think it was,
Yeah,
bro.
it was.
Put that foot in that
Dang.
damn dirt.
Put that foot in the damn dirt. Treyway, what you got for us, man?
Yeah, so something that seems particularly different this year that I think most fans will agree with, and I mean it's really interesting because it's like, wow, we could know very, very early if we're going to make the playoffs. And from game 4 to game 10, we play 5 of our division games. That's September 29th to November 10th.
We sure did.
So in those 7 games, in the span of that time, we play 5 of our division games. And then we do not play our 6th division game until the last game of the year.
Yep.
Damn,
And the
that's
last
crazy.
game of the year, it's Carolina at
And it's
home.
TBD on the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to me,
Wow.
I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I'm like,
That
one,
is.
there's a chance that you could by November be 1-4 in the division,
Woo!
4-1 in the division,
That'd be
3-2, 2-3, and then you won't get to, you don't get to play that next one until the very end of the season, and then between that you play the Chargers, the Broncos. You basically play the entire AFC West in that time span, and then the Giants and the Commanders.
That's not the
Fans.
Chiefs. Yeah,
Yeah, the Chiefs is week 2.
Oh,
week 2
damn,
on
dog.
Monday. What is that? Sunday night football or Monday night? That's Sunday night football.
It is Sunday night, correct?
Mhm.
No, Kansas City's week 3, Sunday night.
Oh yeah,
week
it's week
2
3.
is Philly, ESPN
Monday night.
So we got 2 back-to-back primetime games.
Primetime games. Yeah. That's what got me was how we got 4 primetime games, and one of them
They
being
want to see
against-
Kirk O'Chains, bro. They want to see
But,
Kirk O'Chains.
but against Vegas at the end of the year.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Your boy's gonna be at Vegas. The Vegas
Nice.
game. So.
No. I got and nice. We're gonna have feet on.
Oh,
the,
and that's
toes on the ground.
December too. That's gonna be a vibe. I mean,
It's
not
gonna
a
be
vibe for like
so
Falcons
nice.
fans because they're gonna like murder y'all in there. But you know what, Trey? I want to pull up low key. I'm trying to make that happen.
You gonna pull up?
I've never been to Las Vegas. I've been wanting to go to Las Vegas.
All you need is a reason.
All I needed was a reason, bro.
All you need is a reason.
That could be my Christmas present.
There you go.
Talk to me.
There you go. But yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy, man. Having four what's it called? Having 4 primetime games.
Yeah.
2 of them in the first 2 weeks or in the first 3 weeks is just insane. But
yeah, it's like they want the Falcons to be like on full display early. It's like, hey, either we're gonna be behind y'all and y'all got some potential, or show me that you suck right now. Don't get me invested and try to have me figure y'all out till week 17. Let me know what's up.
but that's not fair though. As Falcons.
Absolutely.
As a Falcons fan, especially with Kirk Cousins being 11, 25 and 1 in September.
Yeah.
Like the hell.
What the hell? They expect things to change for him.
Bro,
Man.
Kirk has the most Matt Ryan he's got those Matt Ryan killer
Type stats.
where they just hurt.
Yeah. Dang.
I looked
They're
up Matt Ryan's stats.
Such Falcons.
All right,
Such Falcons.
check this out, bro. 102 times that Matt Ryan's thrown for 275 plus yards, right?
Okay.
Do you know what his record is?
Oh my god, yeah, I know what it is, and even worse, I know what the other three guys who've also thrown at least that many's record is.
I
too.
just don't it is 52 and 50.
Yeah, he's got like a 50% win percentage in that
50%.
scenario, and everybody else is like 65 plus.
or up.
Most of them were 70
Dang.
plus, like win
Yeah.
percentage in those scenarios, and Matt's at 50. I'm like, God.
Wow.
Like, what is that, bro? What did we?
Hey,
put
that's
Matt
another
through here?
thing. That there are quite a few of those stats that I've been hearing pop up too. That kind of shows and pushes that narrative that, not that the Falcons failed Matt Ryan, but like he could have used more help at times. But he had great help on offense most of the time. Like he had like elite offenses a few times.
I feel like he had elite offensive weapons, but we've got
Yeah.
one of the best photo albums of like a QB getting destroyed and somehow never getting hurt. Like
Oh
Matt was
yeah.
consistently top 5 and QBs hit every single year until I think like 2016 he got a break, but he was
Yep.
still hit a lot that year. A lot of people don't talk about that. He still took a lot of
Yeah, you
shots.
still got hit.
And
He's an Iron Man, dog.
2012, 2013, or not 2013 year, everybody got hurt, but 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Bro. He was an
Yeah,
Iron
bro.
Man,
Yeah,
dog.
yeah. We gotta put some respect on Matt's name, man. Oh, we do. I'm
He
sorry.
really is
I'm sorry.
Man of
We
Steel,
do.
man. It is honestly insane. Like if you look up how many QB career hits he took, and you look at the other QBs that are listed with him, he is the like only player there that was not hurt. And he would have, I forgot what streak that he had before he did have to miss a game, but he had an insane streak of
Oh yeah.
of
Wasn't it 200
non-missed
and something?
games. He like there was like one game his rookie year, like 2 games his rookie year, or not rookie year. I think it was his sophomore year where he had to sit out or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then it was like after that he never missed one until he was like with the Colts.
Yep. Man,
Crazy.
what a guy. What a guy.
What a guy. What a guy. I don't know how we got to Matt Ryan, but I'm very glad that we did.
I'm glad we did. You can always have a spot for Matt
It's the
Ryan.
beauty of June.
Always have.
You can
Exactly.
The beauty of June.
reminiscing.
Yeah. Before we get taken out back like old Yeller
Yeah,
in September.
Yeah, because that is very much a possibility. So ran a poll today. Thought that would be fun to see before the pod today. I asked, what would you grade the 2024 offseason for the Atlanta Falcons thus far? 186 votes came in. Thank you guys for anybody that voted. Everybody got 61.3% saying B plus and or minus.
Okay.
61% said B plus or minus.
Gotcha.
Got 19% saying C, 14% saying A, and only 5.4% saying D and or F. I don't know about you, but after all of the stuff that we heard about this offseason, that feels like a win.
Yeah. I mean, fans have convinced themselves or they've sat with things for a while now. Like Trey said, it's the beauty of June, bro.
It's the beauty of
June. I mean, we're sitting
The
here.
sun is out longer.
The sun is out. Bijan wearing a visor at OTAs now. It's just a beautiful world.
With the red tint.
With the red tint, Kirk is throwing sideline passes to Drake London. Like
Drake
it's
London
just
staying on the ground while he's catching the football.
like Trey said, he's working on it, right? Like things are pointing in a good direction, bro. I think fans are just feeling positive right now. And I'm happy for him. Like I said, bro, we deserve it for a second. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I haven't fully dove in this year. I'm trying, but it's like I can't let myself, you know what I'm saying? But we gonna see, bro. But I'm glad to see like the overall consensus, you know, people kind of liking what's going on right now.
Hold on a second. I like this. I like that, Wallace. I like that. See, this is a perfect example. Perfect example of that optimism.
Same system. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, guys from that system do tend to show success within the first 2 seasons at least.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel.
Correct.
I mean, both of those guys. LaFleur. Yeah.
So yeah, all of them. So I'm not gonna say that. Let's go. But so if I'm giving my offseason grade, because I voted in the poll too, I was one of the 186. I put B plus or minus. I probably would have said B minus, or B. I slice it down the middle. It's just I'm still kind of bothered by some of the decision making. With the quarterback situation, I've made peace with it. Of course, it is what it is. But if I could go back, I still would have done some things differently there, and trading one of our 3rd round picks. That still stings. Like that's the one thing right now that was like, I still to this day I'm like feeling that.
I don't understand it fully, honestly. Not, I mean, I don't think I ever will.
Yeah,
Why they choose the second round as the place where they're like, where that itch comes, like, okay, we got to call somebody, like,
yeah,
we got to
yeah,
move.
yeah.
But yeah, Trey, what do you grade it? And I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I have to go be a father real quick.
Do your thing.
Yeah, well, I did. I voted in the poll, but I'm not going to do a letter grade. I think the team got better, like at the end of the day, because they upgraded the quarterback position.
Yeah,
So objectively, they got better there. I think the jury is out on whether or not they got a better OC, but I think right now you look at that as an upgrade as well. I think you look at head coach as an upgrade. Well, actually, I should say OC is definitely an upgrade because last year it was Dave Ragon, so it's
oh
definitely an
yeah,
upgraded OC.
yeah,
TBD on DC. TBD
yeah,
on
yeah.
DC. I think that's a conversation that will be interesting to have as the season goes on, and one that a lot of people haven't been having at this time. I know Raheem is a defensive minded coach, but I think he is going to be a true CEO and manage both sides of the ball pretty heavily here and let his OCs be the primary play callers and everything. So that means that while yes, he may focus a little bit more on the defense in terms of the scheme and things like that, if Lake is the one calling the plays and Lake is the one that has full control, we don't know yet how he's going to
Yeah.
do. I'm not going to, he was a good defensive coordinator at Washington. That's the college game. That's as much
Yeah.
as I'll say about that. He was good there at the college level, but this is now, um, his first DC job. So
Yeah. Right.
this is going to be interesting to see how it goes there. So I don't necessarily know if that's an upgrade. Call it a wash right now. I
Yeah.
think Nielsen was great. I think there's a little areas where maybe there's some overhype, but I think he also, considering with the amount of turnovers he had to deal with from the offensive side of the ball, I think the defense did pretty well last year.
Right.
Um,
I agree.
with that all being said, there are other areas such as cornerback two. Let me ask you something, Fleek. Did you
Yep.
feel better about CB2 going into last year versus how you feel right now?
That's a good question. Yeah, I did because
Mm-hmm.
we had a guy in Jeff Okuda that had major potential before injury, and I think he came back and played that last season with Detroit, and he played okay in spurts, but he still had some getting back to do. So I kind of put all of my eggs in the basket of, okay, maybe this is a guy that just needed a change of scenery and could reprise his past self
Yeah.
and step up opposite of AJ Terrell.
And so I think he did that for the first, after he came back, because he started the season um,
Mhm.
not playing a couple games. And then when he came in, those first 5 games, he was great. And then there was obviously a drop off in play. And we saw
Yeah.
him get relegated to the bench at times. We also saw D'Alford get relegated to the bench when he shouldn't have. So again, I don't
Yeah.
think all of the benchings that happened last year were necessarily the right moves, or
Hmm.
I think a lot of it had to do with, hey, we're going to get Clark Phillips playtime now, because Clark
Yeah.
was healthy scratched at the beginning of the season. And so
Yeah.
I think a big part of it became about that.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
they made a move as kind of the thing that made us feel better, right? We didn't
Right.
know how Okuda was going to play. Like you said, it was going to be, potentially a little risky, things like that. But you know what? All in all, the CB2 position was fine until
Hmm.
it wasn't, obviously. But they took a move, they took a chance, and it made you feel better about that, and it at least gave you some confidence going into the season. We haven't really, the chance that they're taking is that they're just rolling with what they have as of right now. They could still sign somebody, we don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm giving them a 79.5. Not doing a letter grade, giving them a legit grade,
That
79.5
feels
for
like
the
a
off season. I
Yeah.
just don't feel like giving them a B. A B is a good. When I see a B, it's a good job. I don't
Yeah.
know if I can say good job, but I can say this is nice. This is all right.
Right. Yeah, this is solid.
This
This
is
is
like
solid right here.
definitely could have been worse.
For sure.
Definitely could have been worse, and it's
Yep.
better than average because you did upgrade the QB position a lot. You didn't just go from 32 to 20. You went from 32 to I think at least 15 to 10 range. That's what I'm
Yeah.
safe saying. I know he played higher than that last year, but that's a huge jump in QB play.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. By the way, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. Um,
Of course.
so when it comes to grading out, this offseason, I really liked what ATB Network and Vikings Wire, Chris Spooner, he had to say. He said that basically he gave every letter grade kind of like a headline to it. You know what I mean? Kind of like a one-liner. So you got an A grade, you got much better this offseason. You got a B grade, you got a little better. C grade, you stayed about the same. D grade, you got a little worse, and of course, F grade means that you got much worse.
Mhm.
So based off of that, I can see why everybody says, okay, we got a lot better, but we didn't get better to the point of, like it's still confusing. You know what I mean? We didn't get like a we got better, but we didn't get a clear vision of what we're going to do here. You know?
Right. Yeah. Right.
And so because of that, because if you have if it's clear, okay, this is the vision, um, awesome, and we got a lot better, that's an A. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
Immediately that's an A because okay, we have a clear path to competing for a championship at some point in time.
Mhm.
When is our window? That's my biggest question from this offseason. When is our window? Is it not because it's not this year? It's obviously not this year because you didn't do anything to boost up the pass rush. You didn't do anything to solve the cornerback two situation that we're going to talk about a bit later. You
Correct.
didn't do anything to say, hey, we're pushing the chips in. This is we're going to build around Kirk for right now.
You know, Savion, that's a great point you made. And I'm gonna let
You
you finish,
know,
but before I forget, I just wanna that is a great point because that's the little bit of indifference I feel about this offseason. It's like when I say B minus, is because yeah, you got Kirk Cousins, like Trey said, that's an exponential upgrade. Like, I mean, to the moon upgrade. But like everything else was kind of like okay, like when we signed Kirk Cousins, there were things that I expected in correspondence that didn't go the way I expected because when you signed Kirk Cousins, I thought that was you saying our window is now. Like it's right now. Like and I immediately tweeted out our window is the next 3 years with Kirk Cousins. But then you draft Penix at 8, and then you trade one of your thirds that could have been an extra receiver, but you kind of address that position in a good way. But it could have been your corner back too, right? Or it could have been extra D line help. And I know it would have been a third round guy, but I mean that's what we're banking on right now, anyways. That's what we
right?
use to upgrade our defensive line, anyway. So like it just felt like the only win now move we did make was Kirk Cousins,
Kirk
and
Cousins.
everything else was like future oriented. So it's like they're almost saying literally all we needed was a QB, bro. Like come back next year, we're gonna have a QB in the NCS. That's literally what they're saying. Like, all we needed was a QB. So I mean, if they're right, great. But like that's a very confident stance you have to take to
Confident is
not
the
make a
word.
move. Yeah. To not make moves.
You
Is
guys ready for
also
this?
Oh
oh
no.
oh
Hmm.
So let's go back to 2012.
okay.
Falcons are having a great year.
Mm.
Kansas City Chiefs are not. The Chiefs go 2-14. In the almost 7 seasons before that, they only have one winning season. They have terrible to below average QB play throughout. They cycle through multiple head coaches. They experience a wild card loss is the peak of their success during that time. In 2013, they hired Andy Reid and they acquired Alex Smith. Alex Smith was considered a known commodity at that point, good enough to get you to win games and maybe get you to flirt and get into the playoffs, but you need to upgrade from him when you're finally ready to take the next jump. But in order to get to that place, you need to start actually winning some games. So we are starting to open the window. Kirk is here to open the window. He's here to utilize these young players who, again, everyone on this team is essentially unproven outside of like a handful of guys. But we actually haven't seen, now that you have what you need, how are you going to perform? Because for the most part, it's been, well, it's not totally their fault because of XYZ. So Kirk is here to reestablish winning. Penix is here to take the team to the next level. So that window, the way I am looking at it, I think that window is expected to be open in a year or two. I think they are thinking they can open that window fast, the real window to compete for a Super Bowl. And this is the year to get them just winning games and get them to the playoffs so that the young guys on this team who are here for when the window is open actually have some experience playing under the lights. We haven't even seen how these young players will perform when they actually have meaningful games now. Yes, at the beginning of the season, we see how it goes, but we have not seen late season pressure. We have not seen how do you perform under the lights. Can you play in the NFL playoffs? Because we've definitely seen time and time again, teams just aren't ready. Certain guys definitely weren't ready for the lights and they get bounced out. But that goes into the experience. Teams that make it back, they talk about how those losses helped, how making it to the playoffs helped. Yeah, it sucked not winning the Super Bowl, of course, but just the fact that they were there and finally at the table, it will have a huge impact on the team. So, I don't think the window's open. I don't think it's still the NFL. Anything can happen, but I don't think it's open this year. But I think the plan is that it definitely should be in a year or two.
Facts. I like that. Too.
Right now, I got to go back and look at 20 freaking 2000 to 2010's Chiefs games.
Don't do it to yourself.
No, I got to now because that was brilliant, Trey.
No, it was.
That really was.
Yep, Raheem, you just got to be Reed, so no pressure.
No pressure at all.
No pressure at all.
That's the only caveat we didn't really get into.
The standard for head coaches right now. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Carrie came in. Shout out to Carrie. Appreciate you coming through.
What's going on, Carrie?
100%.
Yourself as well.
Yeah, but
yeah, man.
Yeah, I like that, Trey. Quite honestly, that.
The thing is, man, like so much of, and I feel like we've been saying this for a while, but so much of this season is based in potential still, and there are a lot of guys in the building that I feel like we can put our trust in. But that brings me to the CB2 conversation, because I know we're rolling up on an hour here. So with the CB2 conversation for 2024, we did not make a CB acquisition in the draft or in free agency. I think we signed a UDFA.
We signed Kevin King.
Or two. Oh, sorry. Oh, dang. I am so sorry. We did sign Kevin King. We did.
And Antonio Hamilton Sr., sir.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me shut my mouth. We made acquisitions. We didn't make any big acquisitions
We did
in the
not.
cornerback room this
No,
offseason.
no, we did not.
So we are kind of just working with what we have. So when you guys are looking at our current cornerback room, and I'm not talking about slot, I mean like CB2 playing the other boundary. Who do you guys see stepping up, or who would you bet on stepping up to solidify that role? Because we have Clark, we have DeAlford, who's probably going to be the nickel, which I would think. Coach Ra has talked about Mike Hughes, and Jerry Gray mentioned Mike Hughes possibly playing a big role. So who would y'all like to see step up?
Somebody,
Anybody.
anybody,
Anybody?
Yeah. But no,
please
seriously, like
help
what we
me.
were talking about we were talking about earlier was how we felt good about, the bet that the bet they made on Jeff Okuda
Mhm.
because it was a low risk, high reward type bet, right?
Right.
And so, getting somebody like Kevin King that hasn't played football since 2021,
I think
or,
so.
getting a low cost Antonio Hamilton Sr. who's been mediocre
Yeah.
most of the time in Arizona. Um, you know, I'm not for the warm body theory when it comes to cornerback too. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
don't need just a warm body that can play the game there. You
Yeah.
need somebody that can actually play. Cornerback, like wide receiver duos are different now.
Oh, right. And that's the
Wide receiver
thing.
duos are completely different now. Like there's
Cornerback two means something more than it used to, in a way.
yeah.
Right now.
You can't just play somebody on the other side of Richard Sherman and say, all right, whatever, do you think?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's like, all right, whatever. You kind of have to have at least a guy that you can trust over there.
Yeah.
And the question is, do we have someone that we can trust over there? And the answer to that is unless you think CP3 is, Brent Grimes. No, no, we don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, dog. Like Clark Phillips is my favorite in my mind.
That's the only one. That's the only guy we have on this
Yeah.
roster. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You're
They keep
putting
trying to shove Mike Hughes in my face, and I'm not gonna lie.
That's not happening to me. That's not happening for me.
I Nah, man. I don't want to see that. But
No.
I don't know. Trey might be a Mike Hughes fan though, I think, right?
Mm. Yeah, man. D Alfred, I'm pulling for you, man. That's who I need to step up to be CB2. We'll see. But at this point, that's who I'm pulling for. I think it just seems like if anything, there is no CB2 on this team, and it's all
Yeah.
just going to be matchup based out there, and that could be interesting.
What did Savion just drink?
Oh my God. So there's this juice in these green beans that she loves eating. But the thing is the juice just don't taste good. So I tried to take it away from her. So I drank it myself and I just gave her the green beans.
Oh
Oh
man.
God, I forgot how horrible it tasted.
Jeez. Well, I am sorry that you had to go through that. But no, Trey, you bring up a great point. That's the thing. Like, D. Alfred is my second favorite cornerback in that room. It was just so weird how they just pulled him and cut his minutes almost completely last year. Like, I didn't understand that.
I think that was
Um,
solely special teams wise. I think that was mainly because of that.
and,
And
and maybe because if they give, because I'm almost locking in D to be the nickel, but then again, I don't know what our scheme's gonna look like. I don't know what
I can't
anything is
lock
gonna
in
look like.
anybody right now because number one, I don't know what Jimmy Lake likes to. I haven't really dove into what is this 2021 Washington. Um,
Yeah.
but like I've taken a look at last year's Rams, and I think that you would want D Alfred at that nickel,
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of times where you can kind of maybe move him outside and you can bring in somebody like one signing I really liked was the Dane Cruikshank signing. I really do think that he would be like a nice a nice pivot. When you see those bigger teams that like to have that extra tight end on there, I think maybe he could help out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but like I'm looking for Alfred to kind of stay inside. I'm kind of looking for Alfred to stay in the slot.
Yeah.
That's
He's been good.
I heard something there. I heard something there. Trey. What was that?
I was literally just clearing my throat, but
Okay. You don't have a face up here, so any sounds that come from you, it's immediately ears are.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What does it all mean?
What does it all mean? But no, like and that's how I'm feeling, man. It's like Terry is taking so many bets on his freaking draft classes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we haven't touched edge that we have just completely said, yo, AK, this is your show.
Yep, turn up, my guy.
Turn up. We added to linebacker before we added to cornerback. Like I don't get it.
I don't know. Talk to me, dog. I don't know.
I don't get it. I mean, if you were that convinced that Clark Phillips III is going to be cornerback 2, or I guess Mike Hughes is going to have some sort of reconnaissance. I don't know. I don't know, man.
I would like to say something. I've seen a lot of people share this clip. I shared this clip at one point, not as justification for Clark playing outside, but there's a clip that people keep showing, see, Clark can play outside, and it's against the Colts, and it's a fantastic play. I showed this play because it was really good defense. The person that he is across from is the same size as him.
And that's the only.
So please stop sharing that clip. Thank you.
So please stop. No, but that's the only thing. Literally, like when we drafted Clark Phillips in the 4th, I think we all thought like that's a steal. Like Clark is a dog for his size.
Amazing. Oh, he's gonna kill it as a nickel.
We have our nickel. We have our nickel for the foreseeable future.
Right. And now it's like, all right, big dog. Like, and I remember there was this very memorable quote that I brought to the timeline that he had said years before about how like he's never felt like he was the smallest guy on the field. Like he never felt like that. He always felt like the biggest guy on the field. And a lot of the times he backed that up. There were a couple of games last year though, where like
the smallest guy.
He kind of felt like the smaller guy. And it was like, dang, like I mean, most notably probably like the Chris Olave catch, like on his head top, like in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That was the one that was like
A.T. Perry.
A.T. Perry. It was like, oh man, it was tough.
Not beef with Clark.
Yeah, right there, bro. That alone, bro.
The A.T. Perry.
But that's what I'm saying, man. And I was watching, I was watching a smaller cornerback last year when I was watching the Vikings play outside in Brian Flores' scheme and Mekhi Blackman. And seeing how T. Higgins absolutely dogged that man really gives me pause about Clark Phillips III being a smaller corner.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's Mekhi Blackman. It's not Clark Phillips III.
Yeah.
But just seeing him, T. Higgins literally went up like this, grabbed the ball, and then it looked like he was against a child. And that's the thing that gets me, is that I'm gonna say there's a lot of T. Higgins out there. There's not many other T. Higgins out there. That's the reason why he's so coveted right now.
It's true.
But there are guys that are T. Higgins' size out there, and
Oh yeah.
they do a lot of the things that T. Higgins likes to do too. So I'm just, I don't know, man.
Who's Pittsburgh's wide receiver 2 now? Y'all know?
It's Pickens and
John
Because I
Smith.
think
you're hell. You're hell. With that being said,
with that being said,
It's gonna be. They just don't know it yet.
shout out to Brian. Appreciate you.
what's going on,
Appreciate
Brian?
you coming through. You gotta relax, buddy.
No, that's wild. That's
You
not
relax.
true, pal.
You've got to relax with that being said.
Hey, it is over an hour and 5.
Okay, I'm not even lying. Arthur Smith just went over there and absolutely butchered that wide receiver room.
Who's wide receiver 2?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just gonna read everybody's name. Calvin Austin, Marquez Callaway, Dez Fitzpatrick, Van Jefferson, Jariah Jenkins, Scotty Miller, Denzel Mims.
Oh,
You
So
tell
Calvin
me
Austin.
who's wide
so
receiver.
Calvin
So
Austin.
Calvin Austin.
Jonnu
Calvin-
Smith. I
So
was
five,
right.
so 5'10" Calvin Austin is it's Jonnu Smith. It really is Jonnu
It
Smith.
really is Jonnu Smith. It's George Pickens and Jonnu Smith out here.
Oh, that's
George
wild.
Pickens, Jonnu Smith, and Cordell Patterson.
Man,
Your 2024 Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'll tell you what though, in week 2, when Devontae Smith and AJ Brown come to town, that CB2 will surely get his work. We will see early. Yep.
And then AJ Terrell don't like the bigger guys, so it's just
Nope. Send him to Clark. AJ Brown against Clark Phillips. Hey man, we gonna be all right, bro. We gonna be all right.
What's the Vince McMahon meme? I think that's a good place to stop right there, guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody that stayed with us for all 67 minutes of this nonsense. We appreciate y'all, man.
For real, man.
Fleek, man, where can they find you, bro?
Man, y'all can find me on Twitter at Ron Rico Season, spelled how it's spelled right here. I'll be tweeting from time to time. I don't be on the timeline as much anymore. But Saivion, I forgot to tell the people, bro. We working on something real special.
Real
A cool
nice.
little
Real
piece
nice.
of, you know what I'm saying? Something for the podcast, something for the Falcons fans, period. You know what I'm saying? So be on the lookout for that. We'll share that soon from me and your boy Saivion. So
100%.
be on the
100%.
lookout for that.
Oh man, I can't wait either. I got a snippet of what it is, and Fleek, I got to tell you, right? You the guy's talented, man. The guy's talented.
Listen.
That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, dog. Thank you.
The guy's talented. Treyway, where can they find you, man?
Y'all can find me on Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, Outside, anywhere at TRE3SHON Trey Sean. And you can also find me over at Sporting News, working underneath chief editor Saivion Mixon, producing content for you and Falcons fans everywhere.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep, that's where you guys can find us all the time at sportingnews.com /US/NFL/Atlanta-Falcons. That is where we always are. Shout out to Around the Block Network again for letting us use their wonderful platform to put out this podcast. Thank you so much. You can follow me over at Twitter at Mixon, as it's spelled here, Mixon_NFL. And I think that's going to be it, man. Big announcement is that this time slot right here that you're listening to us on, we are going to stay here.
Yes.
Tuesdays, 8:30.
Finally, they're
Two
like,
of them.
That is where we.
for For sure.
The two of them,
For
they've
sure.
committed to this. I will hold them
Yes.
accountable from afar and make sure that they
Yes.
show up for the people. But the two of
This
them,
is true. This is
Yes,
true.
the two of
Troy
us.
be
The two
like,
of
the
us.
Dark Lord just watching over us. Like it's Tuesday, 8:15. I don't see no
Tuesdays,
phones up.
8 Tuesdays, 8:30. 8:30. I got things.
8:30. See, I'm already like,
8:30. Those 15 minutes are central.
yes, for
Tuesdays,
sure.
8:30 p.m. 8 Eastern Time, 7:30 Central.
Yep.
We are going to be here on the New Millennium Falcons podcast. Stay tuned. We are.
Yes.
I think that's going to be it. That's going to be it.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all
Definitely it for
watching.
Trey.
Yeah, Trey got on out of there.
Y'all be easy, man.
Y'all be good. Peace.